I'm calling this meeting to order right now.
Great.
Very good. And notice the public broadcast the meeting. You want me to read all this?
I don't think we can
Good.
work out.
Here we go. Items of discussion. 1, annual legal counsel review.
Yes, and I will take this item. So, so in front of me, you have the legal review process here. So the objective today is just to review this process. So we're not going over any comments provided by staff or the board. Those will all be covered in closed session. So just to be clear, and really the decision for you that you have today is just to decide if you want to stick with this process or not. So
Okay.
that's really it. And for reference, the board elected to stay with this process last year. So
Yes.
we're doing the same process.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go through this memo. So
Good.
this process, step 1 is for evaluation forms to be sent out to the directors and to the managers. That has happened. All the directors have responded. So we have all the draft comments available.
Good.
We have about half of the manager comments. So those will be coming in the rest of this week.
Okay.
And that is done. So moving on to step 2.
Just leave out a paper towel. I'm listening.
No problem. Step 2 is for this legal, the legal committee to review today. So here we are at step 2. And again, just reviewing this process, not covering any sort of comments.
Yeah.
Step 3. Here we're already at step 3. We're moving along.
Okay.
So step 3 is really to decide, like I said, if there's any changes. If there's no changes, we move right on to step 4. If this committee wanted to make changes, what I would say, and I brought a calendar just for reference, is you would go to the next board meeting, which is next week, and under future agenda items, you would ask the full board to consider an agenda items to agendize that. We would move through that process if you wanted to make any changes. And again, we can look at this if you wanted to consider that. Otherwise, we move to step 4. So, and I'll just say what step 4 is, then to move into the review under closed session. So that closed session, it's a 2-part, first half, second half. First half being discussion amongst the board members without general counsel to go over the summary of comments, both from the directors and from management. And then the second half would be to bring legal counsel in and actually give them the review. So that can all be done within one closed session, 1-hour meeting, however you want to break that up, or it could be multiple meetings. So for reference, last year you had 1 closed session to discuss, and you had 1 closed session to actually give the review. But you know, up to board members how you wanted to do that.
And at that meeting, will we be discussing the length of the contract and the amount?
I
Or
think it's
just the review?
just the review. Yeah, you're giving them that feedback.
And then when would we talk about the length and the amount?
That's a good question. I could ask. I'm not sure what the terms of their current contract is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can find
I
out.
don't remember that
It
either.
seems like we have voted maybe last year on extending the contract or re-upping the contract. It seems like that's a separate process.
Yeah, typically, and I want to say it's a 3 to 5 year contract.
Right.
Is what our typical contract lengths are. So
Yeah.
I just don't know where they are in that.
Okay.
But it's usually, yes, usually when that term is close to coming to an end, it's a separate discussion whether we want to continue or consider RFP for.
Right.
Because I think. Was it maybe a year or 2 ago? You guys the board did go through an RFP process.
Right.
We did interview.
That's right.
Yep.
A few 3 firms, I think,
Yeah.
is what I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So I'm guessing they're about halfway through that contract. as well.
so is this just an annual review?
Every year? Yes.
Okay.
Every
Very
year
good.
we will
Right.
do it this
All right.
this time frame.
And who compiles the manager comments?
So that would be the GM's office, so it would be Jen Cerna would
Okay.
collect those. And I'll just give you a sort of a temperature check, if you will. So having reviewed the summary of the board comments, they're generally comments around communication, the communication between the board and legal staff. It's about fees, and it's about legal updates, right? So those are the kind of the categories, if you will, of that you could kind of put all the comments in. And there's differing opinions, but I would say overall, the temperature is good.
Yeah.
And having reviewed management comments to date, they're mainly, interaction between staff and legal for contract review and legal opinions and of that nature. And similarly, it's I would say it's a satisfactory temperature without getting into it.
When you say satisfactory, is that on a 1 to 10, is it a 7 or above?
Can you talk, maybe you can talk about
I'll
that.
I'll just say it's satisfactory.
Oh, okay, all right, all right,
I'll say this, there's nothing of great concern,
yeah, okay,
okay?
all right,
I mean, I'm okay with this process. It
Yeah.
seems like it's worked okay.
yeah, I think so.
And I'm not sure that we need to split it up.
Well, I think you could probably go into a closed session. And
Right,
you could just kind of see how it goes. If there's
Okay.
spirited debate, let's just say, and it extends
yeah,
Okay,
for the hour, then obviously you're
We can
gonna
move it
do a
on.
continuance and
yeah,
okay,
do that,
Fine.
follow up the next closed session. I don't think there's any hard schedule you have to stick to.
Yeah, 'cause it says
You
here
have
that-
flexibility in that.
okay,
it does say the first and second portions of the closed session can occur in one meeting.
Yeah,
So that,
absolutely can.
I think in the past, that's all we ever needed to have done. And before we hired them, of course, we had a large meeting, discussed, going out to RFP.
Right.
But I think since we've done that, we'll see. I don't think we need to split this up into 2 closed
Yeah.
sessions. Can't imagine.
Yeah, so if there's no changes in this process, like I said, our next meeting is on the 19th, next Wednesday.
Mhm.
So I'll be working with Jen and James to set up a closed session for that day, which
Mhm.
would be 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm,
And I don't know if you, maybe we'll reach out to just make sure everybody's schedules are okay with
Yeah.
that.
that should be.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and then we would
And so at-
review the
and so at that
comments
meeting, you'll.
and discuss the term and the length and the amount.
No, we
No.
won't be discussing contract. You'll just be giving them a review.
Oh,
So it's
just
just,
here's a review.
you'll just be reviewing your comments from your fellow
Okay.
directors, staff, and then giving that review to them. And to be honest, I haven't been in that actual review, so I'm assuming that that's all verbal.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, usually what happens is we get
You
a
got a ready
handout
form.
of sort of the,
Yeah.
the comments, and then usually the president will deliver the
Okay.
comments.
Okay, so.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I'll have Jen reach out to all the directors, make sure that works for next week.
yeah,
And if not, we can up to the April 2nd.
yeah,
I just put it in my- so it should be okay.
Okay,
I think so.
all right, so that is.
Easy peasy,
That
huh?
is it, that's the item.
I don't see any need for changing the format.
No, I'm good with it as well.
Good,
I think
okay.
that's okay.
All right,
All
well,
right.
if there's nothing else, Chairman, you can
I can
close the meeting if you want.
adjourn the meeting.
Great, okay.